Every business already has systems. Most were never designed. Someone tried something once, it worked, and then someone copied it, and then just how things works right now and whether it's actually working or not. This series is 10 episodes. We go through the full anatomy of how business operates. Processes, handoffs, decisions, and the knowledge that lives in people's heads. Episode 1 starts from the beginning, of course. We're going to explain how systems works, what actually is, some definitions that I know that if you're just starting or if you're in the middle of some business now, it's important to understand. Now, if you are starting, stay until the end. Don't skip ahead because I have some advice for you at the end of this video. Let's get started. Okay, let's get started. And to get our ducks in the road, the first thing we need to understand is what a system actually is. Because I know that you have been in some meetings and some events that people are saying and talking about system and systems thinking, and you're just starting a business or you have a business but you never thought about it. So first of all, a system, I have a definition here. It's a set of elements or parts that currently organize and interconnected in a pattern or structure, attention to that produces a characteristic set of behaviors, often classified as its function or purpose. So I need to mark because here I have the three most important things in a system. So elements or parts, okay, are the visible, the tangible parts in the business. People, tools, documents, data. So I'll represent them as circles here. Okay? So those are my elements. Perfect. Now, second thing is organizing interconnected in a pattern. So they are interconnected, and I'll represent that by lines, and they're connected in a pattern. And the third part is often and produces a behavior classified its function or purpose. The third part. And this is the system. Rod, I don't know if I understand what a system actually is. So if I create this system, everything inside this is part of this system. It's elements and the interconnections. So I'll have elements and the link. So let's take, for example, a cell phone or this pen, right? So there is a system inside here that there is components like the point, the chip that is inside, and this. So all of these are elements. And I expect, and they are interconnected by wiring, or they communicate between each other, but all of this to create the function of this pen right in my iPad. Do you know what I mean? So this is the system. Now, this part, the point, interacts with the iPad screen. This point where my system interacts with something else, we're gonna call interface. So the interface is the part where my system interacts with the outside world. I'll call environment. And the interface can be connected to one of the elements. In this case, I'll say the point of my pen to write it down. But it could be more than one, okay? So keep this in mind. So now I have the system, and the system has a behavior. The system creates a function. But keep in mind, for me and for you, now with this class, where is our focus? We need to make sure that this system creates the output we need, creates the purpose. So when we are talking about purpose, it's not what the system is supposed to create. It is what it is creating. And this is the most important part here. So make sure that you know that this is not, oh yeah, I want this system to create something. No, it's not what it was supposed to create. It is what is creating right now. Okay, so the behavior created, not what is supposed to. Keep this in mind. Why I say that? Because the behavior of the whole emerges from the connections between the parts, not from the parts themselves. And this is something that when we are studying, when we find an error or when we find something wrong with our pattern, we're gonna look where? The first thing we're gonna look is the parts. But why? Because the parts are the visible. So I see people, I see two. So I can hire someone new. I can hire someone that has more experience. I can buy a better tool. I can redesign my full office. So I see the elements, and I think the errors are in the elements. Okay, the interconnections are the rules, the formal and the informal policies, who reports to whom, what triggers a handoff, which information flows where and when. So this is the interconnection. And here is the problem. Okay, so we're gonna focus on purpose and the link. It is creating the right purpose. Okay, good, you have a great system. It's not, where do I look? Not at parts. I'll look at the link, the connection. Okay? So looking at this, one thing that is really important for us is don't try to fix your system replacing parts. Because 94, the study I'm using for this video is linked below, so I'll share with you. There's a link below so you can grab this information. 95% of the errors are caused by the system. Keep this in mind. 95% of the time, almost 95, 94 as the study. And this is something that I like to highlight, okay? A bad system beats a good person every time. And you have this experience. Even if you're just starting your business, you have this experience. Let's take, for example, a high-performing employee moves into a hole with an unclear system, with unclear responsibilities, no document processes. What's gonna happen? You're gonna see this high-performing employee not delivering. You're gonna think, oh, this guy was just another person when he was in our department, and now that he was got this raise, this promotion, he's a completely different person. What changed? The part is the same, but he's now in a system where there is no interaction. The link is not completely made, or there are some errors in who reports to whom. Now, you probably also had this experience in the past. Someone not that good received a promotion and got inside a perfect place where well structured, a whole with clear ownership, good information flow, and then this person succeeds, excel. What's happening? Like, you weren't expecting this person to excel like this. Why? Because the system absorbed this part and show and make this part of the whole. The structure shapes the output. The person is one variable inside a larger system. Does it make sense? So when we are looking into a system, when you're looking to your business right now, think the iceberg. Look to this iceberg at your screen. Great. We have 4 things to check when we are looking to our system. First, the events. This is the first thing we see, so that's why it's called the iceberg. It's the only thing that we see actually. The iceberg, the event, is the react. What just happened? What just happened? So I have an example here. Catching a cold. Okay. Now, so when we get this is the error. I caught a cold. Instead of looking deeper, I'm gonna get some med and get better, whatever. And it takes like 10, 20 days. Why? And then I'm better, but then a month later, I'm catching another cold. So I didn't fix the first time. So I need to go deeper. And that's the part where we are going to go to the patterns, the trends. It's anticipated. What trends have there been over time? I've been catching more colds when I'm sleeping less. And then you go deeper. The underlying structures, things that you don't see or you don't think at first, but then what has influenced the pattern? What are the relations between the parts? So more stress at work, not eating well, difficulty in accessing healthy foods near home at work made me sleep less, or is causing me to catch cold. So I see the event, I identify the pattern more frequently when I'm sleeping less, I underline the structures. So more stress at work, sleeping less, catching a cold. Now, the 4th part is the part that nobody, or if you do this, you're gonna succeed. But the most part, I'll say 99.9% of the business owners and the people working at operations, they don't look at is the mental models. So what assumptions, beliefs, and values do people hold about the system? What beliefs keep the system in place? Career is the most important piece of our identity. Healthy food is too expensive. Rest is for the unmotivated. So this is the value. So I think my career is more important than my food, than things that I eat, my stress at work. It's more important than, this is so important that I sleep less and I'm catching a cold. So where should I look to fix this event that happened, to prevent this event from happening? I'll look to the mental models. So, and where is the error? So if a question is, something happened, something broke, where do I look? The error is to look to the event. Where should I take a look first? To the mental models. Let me know at the comments if this makes sense. Let me know at the comments if you have this, or if you had this experience in the past. Okay, so second question I have now. Now that I know where the error is, okay, what's the most common mistake? So, okay, I know that I don't need to look to the event, but if I had looked to the event, what error happens? Okay, what's the most common mistake? Is to look to the event and think that the part is the problem. So let's say, and this is a real example, and I noticed this many times in restaurants, for example. They hire someone really good in sales because the sales, our team is bad on sales. It's not, nobody is ordering delivery. So I hired someone really good for sales. And then out of the sudden, I'll get 25 orders in 10 minutes. I'll get 100 orders. But the team wasn't prepared for 100 orders. So I won't deliver 100 orders. I'll deliver 50. And the 50 I have, doesn't have the quality I was expecting to have. So now I have 100 unhappy customers because 50 of them receive what they were not expecting and the other 50 never received because I fixed the sale problem, but I didn't look to my system. So if you have examples like this, comment below, share with us if you know anything, because this is really important to understand the system, of your businesses. And the shift. Where is the shift when I'm looking to a system, when I'm learning systems? Where is the shift? So the shift is start looking not to who, but to what. Who did this? No. What structure made this? From how do we hold someone accountable to what do you need to change so this cannot happen to the same way? So one thing I've learned in these many years in the corporate, working with businesses, having my own businesses, is I don't have to blame the person who committed the error, but what made this person commit the error. So it was something that wasn't documented and the person had to assume something. It wasn't training enough, or the training wasn't good enough. Where is the error? What part of my structure made the error? Okay, so keep this safe. Put in the best part. You just put on a post-it at your computer, not the who, but the what. Nice. Now, one thing I have to ask you to do right now is create your own iceberg. So let me just create your own iceberg. Let me just get my C here. See? Nice. Perfect. Now that you have your iceberg, you're going to write down the event, the pattern, the structure, and the mental model. Does your team know the values of your company, your businesses? Do you know the value of your business? Keep this in mind. And this is something that we have seen and read in many books. Starts with a why. The point is the base. So start this. So get something from your business that has been solved, but then came back after a few months. So it came back, I thought I had solved. Now that you have this problem, find the event, the pattern, the structure, and the mental model, and start digging into it. Now, if you're starting a business, you don't have a system yet, so you don't have that number of errors, you don't have these things going wrong. So if you're just starting, you have the opportunity in your hands. So if you start a business, you start thinking what can go wrong. You start designing. I know that you're starting a business is because you're very good at something. You're very good, you're very technical. If you're good at this, write down, create a structure, because if you're gonna need someone else in the future to help you, to assist you, you'll be able to explain, the other person will be able to reproduce and understand how your business works. Let's say that you're hiring someone for marketing. You don't just go to this person and say, yeah, sell my product. First of all, this is not a sales, this is a marketing person. So they need to show your brand. They need to expose your brand, not do the sales. What they need to understand? They need to understand the system, how it works, what's the purpose, what this system is creating. And every part of your company is a system. So let's say that you have your product, you're manufacturing, but now you need to link to marketing. You need to link with sales. And every system of your business also are linked. So start thinking. Start from one. If you're starting right now, awesome, better. Start with the thing that you know better. Write it down, find the breaks, the leaks, and then go to the next one. Systems thinking is something that we can always use in a business. For the episode number 2, we're going to take the next step. So once we now can see the system, we understand where we look, the parts, the link, the purpose, we're going to break down a process. We're going to open and name exactly what it's made of. So stay tuned. Next week, another episode of this series. We have some good posts at our LinkedIn, at our Instagram page. So let they follow, like this video, and I see you on the next one. Bye.